everyone, welcome back. I'm Dr. Patrick, and today we're in the paint booth at Scotlea Hot Rods. We're working on our X-34 Landspeeder, which is ready to get some color. As you can see, it's in basic fiberglass right now. It's all been sanded down. Everything we don't want to get painted has been masked off, so we're ready to start laying some color down. We're going to be painting this entire thing with spray paint. Now, why aren't we using fancy automotive paint and spray guns and such? Well, this is not a fancy car. It's going to be going to car shows. This is supposed to look old and weathered and beat up. And the easiest way to do that is by being able to blend colors with spray paint. Now, we're going to start off with a basic primer coat of gray. Then we'll go back in and paint the whole body, kind of a satin cinnamon color is what it's called. Then we have to mask a bunch of stripes off, paint those, paint the cockpit, it's a different color. And then take all the tape and everything off and we'll look brand new. But then we get to have some fun and make it look old and beat up. Spray paint allows you to do that. It needs to look like it's been driven around Tatooine, beaten by the sand and the sun and the elements for a long time, getting shot at. Okay? It's supposed to look beat up. And we can do that with spray paint. We can even make those engines look like they're burnt from heat and exhaust. And you're going to see how we do it. So let's start off with some gray primer spray paint. And then we'll let it dry overnight, and then we'll get in with the fun. So let's hit it with some primer. And there we go. All primered. Now it's time for the cinnamon color. Satin cinnamon. It's kind of an orangish color. We'll be covering most of the body. Won't be painting the cockpit or these inserts where the grills go because they get a different color later on. Most of it will be this. This is our base color, then we'll lay stripes on top of that. So, let's make this orange. And there we go. It's satin cinnamon. Enough of that. Next, masking time. There's a lot of stripes on this car. It's going to take a lot of tape and a lot of masking paper. It's going to cover a lot of this, and then we'll paint on some maroon stripes, see what it looks like after that. So, let's get to work. And we have stripes laid out. Like I said, a lot of this had to get covered up. Everything that you see that is orange will now be painted with the maroon color. It's called claret wine. Again, a satin color because we're not going for a glossy look. So get ready to spray all that. We'll let it dry overnight and then peel off all of this. Took 3.5 hours to do all this. And it probably takes 10 minutes to pull it all off. It's not quite so satisfying, but the end result very much is. So let's get to spraying some color. Let's have stripes. And there we go. Fully painted as it would have been brand new from the factory in some galaxy far, far away. Let me show you around a little bit so you can get a closer look at what this actually is. Starting with here at the front, you can see actually the whole bottom edge was painted maroon all the way around, as well as the inserts where the grills will go, and little air inlets on the sides. The quote-unquote hood area gets stripes that wrap around the cockpit. Flow on back through the back. And then finish off the back of the speeder. Likewise, the engines. The left and center engines get the most detail. Whereas the one exposed engine, most of what would be painted is missing off the cover on that. And then the cockpit, went ahead and painted it. It's a slightly brighter red color than the stripes. You can see a little bit of a contrast. Not so much when you're up close, but when you're farther back, you can see more contrast in that red and the maroon. But that's the stripe layout on the Landspeeder. Like I said, it takes almost 4 hours to lay out the stripes, and about 10 minutes to take it all apart once it's done. So now the fun part comes. And we get to distress all this and make it look old. Alright, so now for our distressing, we're actually going to use a bunch of different colors, from dark browns, primers, red primers, white, black. These are kind of a bronze and a tan. It's a whole mixture of colors, because what we want to simulate is this being out in the desert of Tatooine and being driven through the sand and blasted, some scorch marks, all kinds of stuff like that. Now, we could sandblast this if this was a car, this was metal, to actually sandblast and get that effect just by blowing the paint off of it. But it's fiberglass and it's white, so we would just get white spots. So we have to simulate that. Now, we did originally paint it with a gray, so we can kind of knock off some of that paint. We don't want to do it with sandpaper because that really would just leave scratch marks. So we're going to use spray paint at different distances, so we kind of get a different patterns that will simulate kind of that wind-blown look. So first thing we're going to do is take some of the shine off of it. And we're going to do that with a mixture of brown and gray and black. And just kind of dust the whole vehicle to bring down the shine and kind of just dirty it up just a little bit. So let's do that, and then we'll come back in and start hitting some specific spots. Okay, so after a few hours of mixing and matching colors, I think we've achieved the situation and the look that we're looking for. Start over. Okay, so after a few hours of playing with spray paint, I think we've got the look we were going for. Start over. Okay, so after several hours of mixing and matching all those paints, we have the look we were going for. Sandblasted, kind of wore out looking, but utterly cool. So let me take you around and show you how we did this. Alright, so as you can see, we've got quite a few pieces that are kind of looking like they were sandblasted off. This was achieved with 3 different colors of silver, kind of a gray primer and a aluminum silver, then a cast coat silver, sprayed from various distances and then dusted with browns and blacks on top. You can get in here and you can kind of see how there's multiple colors within these. So the idea is to make it look like there's still some paint there, there's a little rust coming through, and we continue that down the sides as well. Areas that would normally have gotten hit by sand. Most of it's on the front, of course, even down low on the bottom sides. Carries around onto the driver's side as well. Whereas the hood stays mostly clean, but again, dusted with different colors. That brown and black that we used initially to kind of take some of the shine off of it. Did the same thing with these colors to make them look like they were rusted through, not just silver color sprayed on top of everything else. Do apologize, the lights in this room are very bright, and that's for a reason. Makes it hard to get in and look at some of these details, but when we get it outside, you'll be able to see it all. But I think we've got the look that we're looking for. Looking like it was driven hard, blasted as it went. Next, I'm going to show you how we did the engines. Okay, so here we are back with the distressed engines. Again, kind of we just heated up with some paint. You can see exhaust blowing out of each of the vents. Those are open to the inside. They'll glow red when everything's turned on. Same thing on the top. All the vents look like they have exhaust blowing out of them, kind of heated everything up. There's also this damage to this wing. We're not sure what caused that. Something with big claws, it looked like, or he got caught up in some barbed wire fence out in Tatooine or something, but that got all damaged. But all the engines have been ran hard, put away hot. Have that burnt look to them. Inlets are hot. And then the final thing we did is just basically took a dry rag, wiped all over everything, took off the excess dust, kind of blended everything in while it was still just a little bit damp, so it wasn't real harsh lines on anywhere. Now we'll let her dry for a day, and she'll be ready to put back together. And that is how you paint an X-34 Landspeeder right here in the paint booth, Scotlea Hot Rods. Thanks for watching.